The tow truck crushed my wife's flowers, backing straight onto my lawn with a reckless grind of tires over petals. Bright blooms she'd nurtured for months, reds, yellows, purples, smashed flat under those heavy wheels. Two thugs in fake security shirts, the kind you buy online for cheap authority, yelled threats across the yard. They waved a bogus order, a crumpled sheet of paper meant to look official, like some decree from on high. They were here to steal my dad's 1972 Ford, the last tangible piece of him I had left, a relic of rusty metal and faded memories. But they didn't know who they were messing with, not even close. I stood on the porch, coffee mug warm in my hand, steam curling up in the morning air. The bitter black brew grounded me as I watched them hook up the chains to the old truck's bumper. My heart pounded, not from fear, but from that old rush, the adrenaline I'd buried deep after years in the field. "That's my property," I called out, my voice steady as a rifle sight. "Touch it, and you're done. I promise you that." The big one, Hoss, a mountain of a man with a neck like twisted rebar, sneered back, his lips curling in mock amusement. "HOA rules, buddy. Move it or we drag it. Simple as that." His partner, Zip, a wiry little guy with eyes darting like a cornered rat, fidgeted with a pair of handcuffs dangling from his belt. They thought I was just a rancher, weak, easy prey. Muddy boots and calloused hands, nothing more than a pushover in their eyes. Little did they know, I'd been waiting for this. The pieces were falling into place, and I was ready to turn the tables. My name's Trevor Dalton. On paper, I run a modest herd of cattle on 100 acres of rolling Texas hill country. Black coffee in the mornings, fixing fences under the relentless sun, evenings with the quiet hum of cicadas. It's a simple life, the kind where the biggest drama is a coyote eyeing the chicken coop. But that's just the surface. For 20 long years, I was FBI Special Agent Dalton, busting down doors in dingy safe houses, chasing liars through shadows, piecing together puzzles that could topple empires. I'd seen the worst humanity had to offer. Cartels, con artists, killers hiding behind smiles. I was on extended leave after a bad op went sideways. A raid in a dusty warehouse, bullets flying, a partner down. The bureau shrink called it burnout, but it felt like a fracture in my soul. This ranch was my escape, a place to heal with my wife, Linda. She knew the real me, the one with scars from pistol grips as much as shovel handles. The truck, it was more than a vehicle. It was pure memory, a time capsule on wheels. It was the sound of my childhood. Saturday mornings, handing him wrenches under the hood, learning life lessons mixed with words Mom wouldn't approve of. That truck had hauled hay, pulled us out of mud pits, carried us to family picnics by the river. After Dad passed, too young, from a heart that worked harder than it should, it became my anchor. Parked under the old oak tree on the ranch, it reminded me of simpler times, of being just Trevor, not the agent always scanning for threats. In a world of deception, it was honest, real. It kept me grounded in this new life we were building, one fence post at a time. Until that letter arrived, shattering the peace like a rock through a window. It came in a thick, cream-colored envelope, embossed with the logo of Willow Ridge Estates HOA. I didn't even know we were on their radar. Our ranch predated their cookie-cutter subdivision by half a century. Stone house, weathered barns, land that had seen generations. We were grandfathered out of their petty rules, or so I thought. Linda leaned over my shoulder as I slit it open, her apron dusted with flour from morning baking. "What's that?" she asked, curiosity light in her voice. I read it aloud, the words dripping with false authority. "Dear resident, a derelict vehicle on your property violates Bylaw 7, Section 4. It's an eyesore, disrupting community harmony." They meant the Ford, of course, calling it sun-baked red, indeterminate color. I tossed the letter on the table with a snort. "Aesthetic harmony? That's code for, we hate anything with soul." Linda chuckled, but her eyes sharpened. She knew me. She saw the spark ignite. Signed at the bottom, Karen Holt, President. I crumpled it and dropped it in the trash. Thought it was a bluff from a bored busybody. But deep down that old instinct stirred, the one that smelled trouble brewing. A week passed in ranch rhythm. Sunrises over the hills, feeding the cows, mending a leaky trough. I pushed the letter from my mind, focusing on the quiet. Then, on a dusty Tuesday afternoon, a white SUV pulled up to my gate. Willow Ridge Security, decals peeling at the edges like cheap stickers. Out stepped Hoss and Zip, tactical shirts straining over their egos. Hoss loomed like a vending machine intimidator, shaved head gleaming. Zip twitched, clipboard clutched like a lifeline. Linda spotted them from the kitchen. "Company's here," she said flatly. "Looks official." I wiped grease from my hands in the barn and strolled out, unhurried. My land, my pace. I stopped at the gate, arms crossed. "You Trevor Dalton?" Hoss grunted, voice a forced growl. "Might be. Who's asking?" Zip piped up, finger jabbing toward the truck. "That vehicle's in violation. Final warning. 48 hours. I leaned casual, hiding the assessment. No real weapons, just bluster. "This ranch isn't in your HOA. Predates it by decades. You're trespassing." Hoss stepped closer, trying to tower. "Our records say otherwise. Enforceable on adjacent properties." He thrust papers forward. I didn't glance. "That's civil nonsense. You're not cops, just goons with walkie-talkies." His face reddened. "Move the truck or we move it. 48 hours. I smiled, cold and sharp. "Threatening theft? That's grand larceny." Zip shifted uneasy. Hoss doubled down. "Authorized by President Holt." I nodded. "Tell her she's playing with fire. Leave now or next time it's arrests." They glared, then stomped back to the SUV, dust kicking up as they fled. Linda met me at the door, phone in hand. "Got it all on video." We shared a look. This wasn't over. The 48 hours ticked by like a countdown. I mended fences, but my mind mapped contingencies, the old agent habits resurfacing. On Thursday morning, they returned, tow truck in tow, its beeper piercing the air like an alarm. It backed over Linda's flower beds, crushing more beauty under greed. I stood on the porch with her, coffee in one hand, resolve in the other. She filmed discreetly. Hoss marched up, paper waving. "Removal order, keys or we drag it." I set the mug down with a click. "That's theft. Leave." He laughed uglier. "Washed up farmer. What you gonna do?" The driver hooked chains. That crossed the line. I walked forward, measured steps. Hoss blocked me. "Far enough, old man." Inches apart, I pulled my wallet, the black one, flipped it open. Gold shield gleamed. Federal Bureau of Investigation. Special Agent. Time froze. Hoss's sneer vanished, face paling to ash. Zip gawked. "You're committing felony theft on federal orders," I said, voice low thunder. "Interfering with an officer." The driver stopped cold. They stammered, backed away, fled in panic. Dust settled. Victory tasted sweet, but incomplete. Karen wasn't done. We turned hunter. Linda dove into records, shell companies, embezzled dues funneled to Holt's pockets. Her husband's law firm raking in bogus fees. Patterns emerged. Liens on elders' homes, exorbitant fines, intimidation squads. This was a racket preying on the vulnerable. My contacts confirmed interstate fraud, wire scams crossing lines. Anger burned cold. This wasn't personal anymore. It was justice. She escalated stupidly, an illegal checkpoint on the county road, cones and SUV blocking traffic. Hoss played cop, stopping cars. I drove up in my pickup. "Move! Felony obstruction!" He smirked. "Make me." I sighed, dialed 911. "Public nuisance. Fake uniforms." Panic hit. They scattered before sirens wailed. But the real trap loomed. 2 nights later, midnight dark, headlights sliced the blackness. High beams raking my house like searchlights. Intimidation pure. I slipped outside, shadows my ally, old training kicking in. Hoss and Zip crept toward the truck, bolt cutters glinting, vandalism hour. I hit floodlights. "Freeze! FBI!" They spun, tools dropping. Then the twist. Karen Holt emerged from shadows, face rage-twisted. "You ruined everything!" Desperate, she'd come herself, hubris her downfall. Her HOA was a fraud front. Interstate scams confirmed by my bureau pals. I zip-tied them, old habits die hard. Called in feds. Warrants descended like hawks. Arrests, frozen assets, empire dust in hours. The truck sits under that oak, untouched. Peace returned, hard won. Ranch quiet reigns, but with vigilance. In the end, bullies like her forget. Push the quiet ones, and you wake the storm. They shatter flowers, but roots run deep. And when the badge flashes, empires fall.